And we begin tonight with multiple breaking news stories we're covering. The first, right now, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting call that turned into a deadly crash. This started near China Grove and ended on the far southeast side near Elmendorf.
So we want you to take a look at a map right there. The Sheriff's Office says that someone called them around 4 o'clock this afternoon for a shooting on Highway 87 and Foster Road. We're also being told that one person died after crashing on Highway 181 near Loop 1604. And we have a crew that's on the scene right now. We're going to be checking in with them once we learn more information about this.
And now to another breaking news story at 6 o'clock here. The Uvalde Police Department now taking disciplinary action against a staff member tied to a botched records release. That staff member, who has not been named, is on paid leave. Uvalde police revealed that more footage has been uncovered tied to the response to the Robb Elementary School shooting.
So if you remember last month, a district judge ordered that the city release records like 911 calls, radio transmissions, and body camera footage to several media outlets, that's including us, KSAT. An officer told Chief Homer Delgado that their videos weren't included. So Delgado ordered an audit of department servers, which uncovered those additional clips that we just told you about. And we've asked how many clips were found and when they're going to be released. A department spokesperson says that he didn't have those answers just yet.
Yeah, we'll keep asking and keep you updated. A 12-year-old in court today for the first time since he was arrested for allegedly making threats online against 7 local schools.
So today, the main conversation was whether the boy would be released on probation while he waited for his next hearing. Courtney Friedman explains why the prosecution and the judge agreed on a decision right away.
Facing a judge for the first time since his Monday arrest, a 12-year-old boy. We won't show his face and name because he's a minor, but what he's accused of is not minor. Judge William Shaw made that clear.
Understood? Guess what?
Yes, sir.
Monday, the boy posted on social media a picture of a gun and the names of 7 schools. The circulated post terrified families. San Antonio police and the Texas Rangers tracked him down and arrested him. The question from the defense and the boy's mom: could he be on supervised probation until his next hearing?
I feel he's not a danger to himself or anyone. The first altercation, he was joking with another student. I did reprimand him and told him not to joke in any manner with any friends. I haven't had any other issues.
The defense described the students messages were sent to.
There was bullying. There was incidences where they pushed him downstairs. It's very clear that the pictures that were shown, it was an Amazon cart. And on that Amazon cart, it says at the bottom in all caps, joke.
But probation and the state said continued detention was necessary given the child's history.
Last school year, he was caught on campus with a bulletproof vest, and in April of 2023, Judge, he was sent to his alternative campus for a threat made against the school.
When the search warrant was executed, 2 tactical vests were found in the home. He sent multiple pictures of firearms to the person he told he was going to shoot at the school.
Joke or not, there's different ways to handle this. If you're having bullies at school, you need to talk to mom, talk to school, talk to somebody.
He ordered the boy to remain detained.
At the end of this hearing, the judge did set a date and time for the next detention hearing. That will be September 25th at 9:30 in the morning. From the newsroom, Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
This isn't what you'd call your typical joyride. Bexar County Sheriff deputies say that they found a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a car. They say that that child and a 3-year-old had been left alone in the car. That was Monday outside of the Family Dollar on Foster Road. Investigators are saying that at some point, the 5-year-old backed the car right out into the street. Witnesses then grabbed the younger child who had climbed out of the car into traffic. They told deputies they realized the 5-year-old was driving after the car returned to the parking lot. Deputies arrested the father, 41-year-old Derek Deloche, and he told deputies that he had been inside the store for about 10 minutes.
20 witnesses over 3 days, and today testimony wrapped up in the punishment phase of the case against a couple who pleaded guilty in a deadly dog attack. Today, video of a police interview with Aveline Schneider was played. She's one of the dog's owners. Schneider can be heard telling detectives that she and her husband, Christian Moreno, did everything asked of them by Animal Care Services. She said that the dogs were never aggressive, but then she talked about times the dogs were aggressive with each other. In February of 2023, 2 of their dogs attacked and killed 81-year-old Ramon Najera, seriously injured his wife, and bit a neighbor and a firefighter.
There was never an aggressive bone in the body like that. When I saw that video, I did not recognize those dogs.
A judge will now decide the couple's sentence on September 20th. The defense is asking for probation, but the state wants the maximum. That's 20 years in prison. Lieutenant Colonel Karen Wagner, a 1979 Judson High School graduate, paid the ultimate sacrifice on 9/11. She died while helping those in the attack at the Pentagon 23 years ago today.
And for 20 years, her namesake school, Wagner High School, has held a 9/11 memorial service in her honor. Sarah Costa was there this morning as members of the Wagner community gathered to honor her and also remember everybody who died on this day.
This wreath laid here today, a small reminder of the big sacrifice that Lieutenant Colonel Karen Wagner left behind 23 years ago today as she tried to save others during that 9/11 attack at the Pentagon. It's why her namesake school, Wagner High School, has held a 9/11 wreath-laying memorial ceremony in her honor for the past 20 years. The ceremony led by the Wagner Thunderbird JROTC presentation of colors, inspirational speakers, and a moment of silence at the front steps of the high school. After graduating college, she started as a Medical Corps service officer in 1984. In the summer of 2001, she was promoted to lieutenant colonel at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., where months later, the unthinkable happened. She died trying to save others. It's a legacy that Wagner JROTC staff and students say inspires them daily.
They have to understand the history. Definitely, they come in them doors every day as we see Lieutenant Colonel Karen Wagner High School, and it's definitely a big part. They either understand their history and who they represent every day and keep that legacy going on for Karen Wagner High School.
Just to be able to carry on the legacy that she died for our country and just to be proud to be a Thunderbird.
Judson ISD Dr. Mary Duhart-Toppin spoke to the students today, reminding them that like Lieutenant Colonel Wagner, we can all live up to her legacy by striving for excellence, not just in the big things in life, but in the little things. And she said that starts with an attitude of excellence every single day. From Wagner High School, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
Downtown, local first responders climbed the Tower of the Americas to honor the heroes of 9/11. This morning, members of the San Antonio Fire and Police Departments made that walk up there in full tactical gear to honor fallen firefighters and police officers. And the people who participated climbed the tower's stairs twice, exceeding the number of floors that first responders climbed 23 years ago.
My dad's a firefighter. He was in the military, so I know he's had more memory of what has gone on with that, but I just always love giving back. I've had a good amount of family members who've been in like either the service or they are first responders, so it has like a really deep connection to me.
This is the 11th year for this event. Hundreds of people participate in that climb every year.
All right, let's turn to the forecast now. In that summer heat, it's slowly creeping back our way, Adam.
It is, yeah. We had that little taste of fall over the weekend and earlier this week. Now temperatures are starting to climb back up. Actually, 95, our high temperature recorded at San Antonio today. Del Rio made it to 96. Meanwhile, 88 Kerrville and Rock Springs, usually a touch cooler in the hill country. But notice our temperatures back up to 97 by Friday and Saturday. And when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like it's 100 or just a little bit more in the afternoons. But bottom line, mid to upper 90s for high temperatures going forward. Hurricane Francine making landfall just a little over an hour ago in south central Louisiana here, right along the coast. Wind gusts of 105 miles per hour measured on Eugene Island. We'll talk more about this system and where the remnant rain is going to go in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Adam. Let's take a look at a traffic trouble spot we found on the TransGuide camera here. 410 at Blanco. You can see it just zoomed in there to these cars that Clearly, we're involved in a wreck here. This appears to be the eastbound lanes of 410 at Blanco there. And we got several cars pulled over there to the side. Doesn't even look like first responders are on the scene quite yet. This is clearly in the early stages. It is the 6 o'clock commute, so expect a backup and something to watch for as drivers make their way around this, and hopefully it gets cleared up soon at 410 in Blanco.
Yeah, I was just reading that 2 lanes are blocked, 3 lanes there are blocked right now. This is according to the TxDOT website right now, so just, good luck getting around that. In other news now, this year's Head for the Cure 5K is right around the corner. It's going to be on September 28th, so mark that down. It's going to be at Providence Catholic School. You can register right now by scanning the QR code that you see on your screen. It'll take you directly to the website to register, and all of the money from this event goes straight to benefit cancer research. For more information, just visit ksatcommunity.com.
What is name, image, and likeness, or NIL? It has changed the game when it comes to college sports, but there's a big potential for a downside.
The pay for play, just buying kids. That's not the way I believe the rule was intended.
Coming up at 6:30, we explain where name, image, and likeness comes from, how it works, and that gray area that comes along with these money-making opportunities for athletes. KSAT explains is at 6:30.
And after the break, Rolando Pablos, a political veteran and current head of an international trade advisory firm, is now the latest contender in the San Antonio mayoral race. Up next, we're going to sit down with him to explore why he thinks he's the best fit to be the next San Antonio mayor. Stick around.
But first, let's take a look outside with live cam. That summer feeling, it's creeping back our way. Meteorologist Adam Caskey will tell us how much warmer it could get. Coming up. Coming up tonight on the Night Beat, the longest and oldest standing VFW post in Texas. It's right here in San Antonio, but it is in need of some repairs. John Paul Barajas breaks down the $34,000 spent on renovations so far and the work that still needs to be done and the efforts they're making to raise even more money to keep this piece of history intact.
Plus, a Know My Neighborhood follow-up, a dangerous street being studied now by the city. Neighborhood concerns about the safety of Castroville Road is widespread, and tonight, Avery Everett is going to share what progress has been made on that project. Those stories and more tonight on the Night Beat.
He is a City Hall outsider, but not a political outsider. Rolando Pablos is the latest person to enter the San Antonio mayor's race.
Pablos currently heads an international trade advisory company, and if his name sounds familiar, it's because he used to be a Secretary of State under Greg Abbott. Garrett Berger sat down with him to talk about his pitch to San Antonio voters.
Rolando Pablos may not have had an office in City Plaza, but he has had one in Austin. And he says that can help San Antonio.
So that's what I bring to the table. I'll be able to bring those relationships that are sorely lacking.
This mayoral run is Pablos' first campaign for elected office. He sees opportunity not only in the open mayor's seat next spring, but several open council seats.
This is the perfect time to change the dynamics of City Council and to really bring in qualified individuals who have proven leadership experience to take our city into a direction where we can actually compete with other Texas cities, bring quality jobs here.
Pablos says he wants San Antonio to be able to better compete against other big Texas cities for quality jobs.
You know, Texas is the hottest economy in the world. We're the 7th largest economy. Companies are flocking to Texas, but for whatever reason, they're skipping us. They're going to other places.
With the city in the middle of its budget process right now, Pablos says San Antonio needs to cut its debt. But he also talked about fixing infrastructure, which the city often does by taking on debt. When we asked how he proposes to do both things, he said prioritization.
Pet projects and all of those things, I'm not saying they're not important, but we need to deprioritize those and really put our money where we're going to make ourselves more attractive, where we're going to improve the quality of life of people.
Though he only officially started his campaign in late August, Pablos soft-launched a bid in May with the creation of a nonprofit, Future First SA. He denied it was a way to raise dark money for his campaign, instead saying the group will be a think tank to help guide city policymakers.
I will not take any money from it. I don't need to. When I served in state government, I leaned on think tanks because they have the research. And so you take their information and now you can make a better decision.
Voters will have decisions of their own to make next spring. Pablos is the 12th person to enter the crowded race, which is still 8 months away. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Now, we spoke with Pablos about a lot of topics, from a downtown sports arena to the Migrant Resource Center. So if you want to watch that full interview with the mayoral candidate, scan the QR code right there on your screen.
All right, we're talking higher temperatures, and of course we're waiting on fall, but we're also watching Francine, Adam.
Yeah, waiting on fall, that's for sure. I mean, we had a little taste of it with the lower humidity and some
Such
cooler.
a tease.
You know, always am this time of year. You get that one little taste. And even the longer range trends, right, don't really hint toward a real cold front coming our way within foreseeable future. I'm saying even beyond 7 days. I know that's not the most accurate data, but even then, nothing's hinting at it right now. Let's take a look at our headlines. Feeling a little more summer-like. That's high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, heat index values around to slightly above 100 briefly in the afternoons. And Francine made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane along the central Louisiana coastline. Now, the remnants are going to linger for quite some time, and I want to get into that in the latest with this storm. You see the well-defined eye, at least within the radar data here. You see that center of circulation, the eye of it, and the highest winds, of course, in the eye wall right outside the actual eye, where it's clear and calm in the middle. Anyway, that moved on shore, 105 mile per hour gust measured at Eugene Island, right there on the outskirts of the Louisiana coastline. The actual eye, the center of it's heading over Houma, Louisiana right now. So they're actually starting to see calmer conditions. And then the back end of the eye wall is going to swing through there momentarily. And New Orleans also getting hit by this. Now it's downgraded, Category 1 hurricane. Still strong, though. Max sustained winds around 90 miles per hour. Moving to the northeast at 17 miles per hour. Pretty much a northeasterly motion. And now that it's interacted with land, it's going to weaken very quickly, as it's going to lose its fuel source, which is the Gulf of Mexico and open, warm water. It's losing that, and it's interacting with land, shredding it apart a bit, and it's going to weaken, but the remnants of this, the leftover rain and a little bit of upper level energy, is going to stick around for a while. It's not heading our way, unfortunately. We only have a 10 to 20% chance of rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and into next week. That's it. So minimal chances, and that's actually from a little bit of Pacific moisture and energy that's headed our way. But look at the remnants of Francine heading up the Mississippi River, just east of it especially. And we have a blocking upper level high pressure system that's over the Great Lakes region. These blocking highs, we know how they work around here, don't we? They keep things away from you. And that's going to actually keep Francine stuck here in the central to southeastern U.S. for pretty much the next week. Now, it's going to rain itself out a little bit in that time, and it's not going to have a whole lot of rain left over by this time next week. But over the next couple of days, we're looking at 3 to 6 inches of rainfall, parts of Mississippi and into western Tennessee and eastern Arkansas, and other parts of the southeast and mid-Atlantic getting in on some of the action over the next 7 days from the remnants of that. As for their need for the rain, and notice Mississippi, Alabama, western Tennessee, and even eastern Arkansas in drought. This will be a good drought denter, possibly drought buster for them. We know how it is to be in drought, so they're looking forward to some of that rain. We wish we could tap into some of it. 73 in the morning, 88 at noon, 95 the high temperature. It's going to feel like it's close to 100 for a little bit in the afternoon. And notice those mornings back in the mid-70s, a sure sign that the humidity has returned. Now look at the rest of the tropics and where there could be some development coming up at 6:45.
Okay, Adam, thank you.
Larry, you ready for Saturday?
I am ready for Saturday.
TSA?
Yeah, so this is an interesting matchup, of course, because Texas is number 2 in the country, and they're coming off a high of beating Michigan. UTSA, on the flip side, is pretty upset after falling to Texas State, and that has the Longhorns on alert. Plus, the Aggies, they're heading to the Swamp for a game against the Gators coming up.
I can see what his point is for sure, but when you're the one that's wounded, you don't
you don't feel good when you're wounded.
That's Coach Traylor's response when told that Steve Sarkisian said the toughest opponents are the ones that are wounded in big board sports. All right, well, the Longhorns are definitely not wounded. They are 2-0, ranked second in the country, and they're fresh off beating Michigan at the Big House 31-12. The win by Texas marked the 140th all-time victory for the Horns against a ranked team of 37 of those wins coming on the road. The Horns racked up 389 yards of total offense and outplayed the defending national champions. Now the Horns are getting ready to host the UTSA Roadrunners, who lost at Texas State Saturday 49-10. Here's Steve Sarkisian and his thoughts on facing Birds Up.
Heading into this week, we know we have a dangerous opponent. The worst opponents or the toughest opponents to play are the ones that are wounded, that are backed into a corner. And UTSA has got a very talented team, really well coached. Coach Traylor's done a nice job there, and they're a little wounded coming out of last week. So we know we're going to get their best shot. We're going to get their best version, and so we got to prepare really well this week, like we have the previous 2 weeks, in knowing that we got to. We're going to get their best shot. We need to ensure that they get our best shot.
This game will mark the second ever matchup between Texas and UTSA. The Horns won the first meeting 41-20 inside Texas Memorial Stadium on September 17, 2022. UTSA led that game 17-7 in the second quarter before the Horns fought back to win. But these are two different teams compared to that first matchup.
I gave the analogy like we went up there last time. Our team was all back. We knew who we were. We had a real identity. We felt confident going in there. And his team was kind of trying to figure itself out. Man, we played with them for a while. Now, we're a team in transition. We had to replace quite a few players of very much importance to us on both sides of the ball and special teams as well. And he's kind of in a spot where a lot of his guys are returning and solidified and got going right where he needs to be right now. So I'd say that's the biggest difference.
Texas will host UTSA Saturday night at 6. After taking care of McNeese State 52-10, the Texas A&M Aggies will next head to Gainesville, Florida to take on the Florida Gators in the SEC opener for both sides. The Gators play at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, a.k.a. the Swamp, and it holds more than 88,000 fans. It's a loud venue, so hearing the offensive plays over the radio in his helmet could be tough for quarterback Connor Wigman.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that we're aware of. We know it gets pretty loud over there, but we're not too worried about it. We work on silent cadences and stuff like that a lot. We don't really have to change too much with what we're doing now, so I think we'll be ready for it. It's a good challenge for us this week, and we got to have a good week of preparation and get after it on Saturday.
It's a big game. Anytime I'm going back home to Florida, this is a homecoming for me, so me and the guys, we're excited and can't wait for the opportunity.
The Gators will host the Aggies Saturday, 2:30 p.m. You can watch it live here on KSAT 12. Texas A&M is favored by 3.5 points.
Right. Looks like it'll be a good game.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of college football, what is name, image, and likeness, or NIL? It's changed a whole lot of things in the game over the last couple of years. We have KSAT Explain It All up next.
What's NIL? Name, image, and likeness, and it's revolutionized college sports.
Yeah, student athletes are getting paid now. There was a big NIL effort underway in San Antonio, but do the rules create as much gray area as they do money-making opportunities for athletes? Here's KSAT Explains. It wasn't coaches, refs, commentators, or the biggest of school boosters who made this call. It was a power even greater than those, the U.S. Supreme Court.
A Supreme Court case called NCAA versus Alston.
In that case, a group of current and former student athletes alleged that NCAA rules violated the Sherman Act, which prohibits anti-competitive practices. The Supreme Court ultimately agreed with a lower court's decision and said the NCAA cannot limit education-related benefits for student athletes.
Justice Kavanaugh had a scathing concurrence in which he said that in almost any other industry, what the NCAA is doing is flat out illegal, and that the NCAA is not above the law.
That allowed name, image, and likeness laws to take the field nationwide. In fact, when that Supreme Court decision was made in June of 2021, Texas already had its own NIL law in the works. State lawmakers passed it the very next month. It allows student athletes to be paid for the use of their name, image, and likeness. For instance,
the student athletes have been able to get deals where they go and they sign autographs, for example, or where they get to go to an event and to be paid to actually be at that event.
The Texas NIL law also requires universities to approve NIL deals. It prohibits deals for things like alcohol, tobacco, gambling, steroids, or sexually oriented businesses. Plus, and this is a big one,
name, image, and likeness is not pay to play. That's still against the rules. This is not pay to play.
Pay to play has plagued plenty of college teams in the past, but so has the argument that college athletes devote years of their lives and their bodies to sports that make millions for universities. So why shouldn't they be compensated for it?
It's been going on for a long time. This levels the playing field. My name is Bob Wills. I am the founder of City Fans 210.
City Fans 210 is what's called a collective, a marquee player when it comes to name, image, and likeness. Think of a collective as a big pot of money set up for college athletes. Donors make contributions to these collectives that, at least in Texas, are mostly 501c3 nonprofits. Jones says that's one way for these groups to show they're not part of a university.
So basically, the booster at the university donates money to the collective, and the collective can try to use those funds to help the student athletes in promoting their name, image, and likeness.
City Fans 210 collects money to pay UTSA athletes.
Every month in the first of the month, they get a paycheck wired into their account from us.
So what do they get paid for? It could be a variety of things: appearing in a commercial, attending an event, even promoting a product on social media. Universities, which must approve these NIL deals, have to follow NCAA rules. But as for collectives,
hard and fast rules that you have to follow, or just don't break these rules and everybody's on the honor system?
Well, yeah, there are rules that are in place now. You know, you have some that are state law, state rules, and there's also NCAA. It tells UTSA and every other university what they can and can't do. We're not under jurisdiction by, it's a little bit of the Wild West, that there's no state laws that have been put into play that says what we can and what we can't do as long as we're doing things ethically.
This is all new to all of us, and we're all trying to figure it out, and also not get in trouble while we're figuring it out. We don't want to break a rule we don't even know we're breaking, because each state's different.
UTSA head football coach Jeff Traylor is navigating the new world that NIL has created for college sports.
The original intent is good.
Traylor says NIL means income, not only for his athletes, but sometimes their families as well.
They're the only source for many of their families.
It's a source that helps them focus on their education, too.
20 hours a week they're with me. They're student athletes, which means they're in class. They've got study hall. They got to sleep at some point, and it's impossible to have a job and do that as well.
But Traylor acknowledges the gray area and how some people could manipulate the rules.
Can't promise a kid something. That's against the rules. That's not what the rule was made for. Again, that's pay for play. And that's what I'm afraid of, is that it's gonna, just the rich are gonna get the best ones.
Whatever his players are paid, Traylor says he wants them to earn it.
Give back, go to an elementary school and read, help the homeless, food banks, rake leaves.
The impact of NIL might not just be felt by college coaches. Some states allow high school athletes to have NIL deals too, but Texas isn't one of them. At least not yet.
I don't think it's going to stay away too much longer for high school kids. The things that people don't even talk about are like the effect on the locker room.
It's going to be a bit of a learning curve as we try to figure out how the name, image, and likeness and the recruiting fit together. By the letter of the law, it should not be happening, but by all indications, it absolutely is happening.
The big money deals are few and far between. For a lot of his players, Traylor explains the money can mean opportunity, family support, and stability. But he admits there are questions.
I don't know how you're ever going to really know. Like, who knows what each kid's getting? Only the collectives really know.
Here in San Antonio, City Fans 210 is only one of several collectives benefiting UTSA athletes. Wills wouldn't get specific about what payments to athletes are in exchange for, saying he can't reveal details of a contract, but he believes a collective can have city-wide benefits.
If the level of our game is elevated to a greater point, people are going to travel here. So that's our initial goal, is to get more people wanting to come to San Antonio. They can be our second pro team. They really can.
As the impact of NIL moves down the field, so to speak, whether further regulation follows, that will be the play to watch.
It's absolutely evolving, and it's changing every day.
You can scan this QR code to check out any of our KSAT Explains coverage. You can watch all our stories on demand anytime. You can also find them on YouTube and the KSAT Plus app. We've also got some updates to some breaking news that we're following coming up. I want to take you back to a traffic tie-up that we have been watching throughout this show. This is 410 at Blanco. You're looking at the eastbound lanes there. We've been watching this for the last half hour or so, and unfortunately it's gotten even messier. We've got crews there on the scene. Looks like a wrecker is there. We've got first responders as well. This is right where cars are finally getting out of that backup once they come out of that overpass, but you can bet it is causing a big backup further down 410 during this 6 o'clock commute.
Yeah, and what we know from TxDOT right now, I'm looking on their website, and what they're saying is that there was some sort of a collision that was confirmed a little bit more than a half hour ago. So obviously still kind of new. They're trying to get their people there to clear that and find out what's happening. But you can see obviously traffic there in that area right now. If you're headed towards that area, you know, maybe you want to use an app or something to help you get around that. But it does look like it's better than it was maybe even 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, at least crews are there on the scene. Hopefully
Yes.
it gets cleared up pretty soon. We do want to also mention that we're keeping tabs on one of our crews that is out with the sheriff currently, just hearing from him about what turned out to be a shooting call that turned into a deadly crash. Our John Paul Barajas just got an update from the sheriff. We're expecting to hear from him momentarily. But first, we want to send things over to Adam Caskey right now. Adam, what are things looking like this time yesterday, actually? I'm glad we took this camera shot because yesterday, remember, all those clouds from Francine were in this view, but not so much today.
No, and today, one of the differences here is that Francine's really not giving us the clouds. The clouds that we have are just the natural forming clouds from the daytime heating. I do want to point out September 10th is the peak of the hurricane season. Of course, that was yesterday, but still pretty close to where we are now. And usually the activity really ramps up leading into these days, I guess you could say, and then it starts to taper off. But we have a new depression out in the Atlantic to talk about in just a bit.
We want to get you that update on breaking news we've been following since the top of the show. Right now, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office investigating a shooting call that turned into a deadly crash. This started near China Grove and ended in far southeast Bexar County near Elmendorf.
So our John Paul Barajas is at the scene right now. There's a lot of law enforcement. And John Paul, we know that you heard from Sheriff Javier Salazar just a few moments ago. What's the latest here?
So, some clarity, this all started just before 4 o'clock on the 12,700 block of Highway 181 at a car lot. The sheriff says an orange Dodge truck was spotted by employees there illegally dumping. And apparently he had been doing that throughout the day, multiple times, not sure exactly how many. But employees there then decided to follow that suspect vehicle, the orange Dodge truck, which then he brandished a gun, and that didn't stop the employees from continuing to follow him. So then they believe a shootout between the employees, who was the victim in this case, and the suspect, the orange Dodge truck, broke out. That victim, this employee of the car lot, then crashed here on the northbound lanes of Highway 181 just before 1604. That's the scene we're looking at down there. He's a 36-year-old man. They said they inspected him as much as they could, but they don't know if he was actually hit by gunfire or just lost control of the vehicle due to high speeds and died because of the impact of the crash. They said their investigators are here trying to determine that, but an exact cause of his death is still not determined. They are looking for that orange Dodge pickup truck at this moment. So again, this is a situation where employees spotted somebody illegally dumping. They tried to take actions into their own hands, and it ended with the employee of that car lot dying here at this crash scene. The sheriff says he obviously never wants that to happen. He doesn't want to let anybody get away scot-free, but he'd rather people be a good eyewitness as opposed to trying to take matters into their own hands. As soon as we learn more about the situation, we'll get that to you.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Someone trying to do the right thing, and unfortunately things escalated.
Yeah, definitely turned very dangerous and deadly in this case. John Paul, thank you. It's a story we're going to continue to follow. We'll, of course, have more information as we get it on the Night Beat and KSAT.com as well. Meantime, let's talk about this forecast right now. We have got, Adam, Francine making landfall, but we're really not going to get any rain from this, although we really need it.
Yeah, we could use the remnants of a system like that. You know, that's something that could be a big drought denter or drought buster, but we only got a few clouds yesterday, and that's it. I want to talk about the rest of the tropics. Of course, Francine just made landfall this afternoon as a Category 2 in central Louisiana coastline. And you look off into the Atlantic, not a lot of action out there, but a little bit to talk about. And a new tropical depression. This is Tropical Depression 7, which is, I mean, this is close to Africa, closer to Africa than anywhere in the Caribbean or even North America or Central America. Anyway, this is headed westward, potentially becoming a tropical storm, but not really intensifying very significantly over the next 5 days or so. Just something we'll watch, and a few other little disturbances that the Hurricane Center has, raised a little flag on to say, we're just going to watch those just in case. And the low end of developing right now. That's all we have to speak of. For being pretty much the peak of hurricane season, it's not very active out there, and it's been a very quiet peak of hurricane season, historically speaking. But yes, we do have Francine. Briefly a Category 2 just before landfall, and then it made landfall with a 105 mile per hour wind gust measured on Eugene Island. And now that's directly impacting New Orleans with the eye wall moving into New Orleans as we speak. The eye wall, of course, where the strongest winds are with these systems, and in the eye, the actual center, is where it's calm. Now the leftovers, the remnants of Francine, are going to be stuck in the southern U.S., south central U.S. basically, because of this blocking upper level high that's sitting over the Great Lakes, and it's going to stay over New England. And that's going to create this log jam for the remnants of Francine to just spin and circulate over the central and then southern United States and drop some rain. I don't think it's going to be necessarily problematic rain, more so drought denting rain. Obviously, localized flash flooding can always be an issue when you're talking 5 inches of rain, parts of Mississippi and yes, especially Louisiana. But I'm talking about the remnants over the next 7 days. 2 to 3 inches, parts of the mid-Atlantic, southeastern states as well. And these are areas that are drought stricken. So it could be some good drought busting to denting rain for them. 92 right now, dew point is 62. That's the key. The humidity's crept back up. Now in the afternoon, the humidity has dropped a bit because the drier air mixes down, but these dew points are going to shoot back up to near 70 degrees overnight. So very humid start to the day tomorrow then, 73 degrees, 88 at noon, 95 for the high temperature, and a light northerly breeze at 5 to 15. Bulverde 93 tomorrow, Poteet and Pleasanton at 96. And then just a 10 to 20% chance of a few showers Sunday into next week.
All right, thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
The Buzz is coming up next. In The Buzz today, one North Dakota farmer went skyward to ask for his girlfriend's hand in marriage. Justin Lehman planted soybeans in such a way that they formed the phrase, "Marry me." Lehman said he used technology and precision planting to make sure the words came out correctly.
And boy, did they. That looks perfect. Of course, the only way that Haley, Lehman's future bride, could see the proposal was from above. So Lehman had a friend who's a pilot take the couple on an aerial crop tour. Haley saw the surprise message, and of course, she said yes. They're planning on getting married next year, right in between planting and harvesting.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations to the couple.
We'll be right back.
Longer range trend, September 17th to the 21st, keeping us above average here. Texas all the way through the midsection of the country and into the Great Lakes. But the western U.S. getting a chance to drop below average for a change.
All right, thanks, Adam. And thank you for watching the news at 6.
We'll see you right back here on the Night Beat.